Pellegrino Matarazzo has been linked to the vacant US job. He's at Hoffenheim at the moment. He's there since 2023. Of course, led them to 7th last season. Preceding that, he was at Stuttgart. Sebastian Salazar remains with us. Seb, I want to start with you. Do you like this appointment if it goes ahead?
I do. This is frequent Football America's guest, Pellegrino Matarazzo, or as we know him on the show, Reno. Okay, so I would like the appointment. I think if you look at what he's accomplished throughout his career, he's shown you that he's able to take what he's got and get more out of it than the predecessor or whoever comes after, frankly. He did so at Stuttgart, getting them promoted, and then having quite a few achievements in the Bundesliga. And then I think you see what he did at Hoffenheim, getting them into European competition. No small feat there. The other thing I like about him is even though he's American, and he is from the state of New Jersey, like Bruce Arena, Bob Bradley, Greg Berhalter, and seemingly every other American coach for the last 30 years not named Jurgen Klinsmann. He's not from the American soccer world, if you will. He played college soccer in the Ivy League and then left for Germany. You know, basically tried to make it as a pro over there, kind of capped out at the 2nd or 3rd division, and very early on dedicated himself to coaching in Germany with the label, which might be good in some cases, but I think in a lot of times can be bad, as an American trying to make it, and he's made it. So he's forged himself, not in Major League Soccer or over here in American soccer with the national team. He's forged himself in the real fires of European football. And for that, I do like his candidacy. I will admit, Dan, there's one major box that he doesn't check, and that's international experience. And I think the domestic game and like the club game and the international game are just becoming more and more different by the week. And so somebody without international experience, to me, would be a little bit scary in this job. But I think Pellegrino Matarazzo has shown us at 2 stops now in the Bundesliga that he's a hell of a manager.
Who do you want then, Seb?
I mean, look at the French women's national team right now is playing with Hervé Renard, who took Saudi Arabia to the last World Cup and, of course, had them beat Lionel Messi's eventual champion, Argentina. That's somebody who has international experience. Obviously, in both the men's and women's game, he's won multiple African Cup of Nations tournaments with different countries. Somebody of that nature would be in a very accessible hire, Dan, to U.S. soccer. I think he's on $500,000 a year right now for the French women's national team. Ghana had been talking about hiring him, and they were offering him maybe just south of $1 million a year. U.S. soccer was paying Greg Berhalter a couple $1 million a year, so they could easily go out and get a guy like that. But there's a lot of candidates that I think would be sexier than Pellegrino Matarazzo. And I think, sexy and kind of big name candidates is maybe more for the fans. But I think we have to be honest about what's coming here. You got a World Cup on home soil in 2026. And so a hire that excites people does carry a value as long as it's also a good coach. I don't think Pellegrino Matarazzo would get U.S. fans overwhelmingly excited. But I do think he's a good coach. If there was some patience and people could watch him work, I think eventually they would fall in love with this guy.
Do you agree with Seb, Stevie, that coaching at international level is becoming more and more different to domestic?
I don't think it's ever. The two have never ever been close to being similar at any stage. So I'm not quite sure how it's getting further apart because it's two completely different jobs. Because of the time that you have with an international side, it's more about getting everybody together, getting everybody comfortable with each other, figuring out a way of playing that suits the mould of what type of players that you have. And I don't think that's ever changed. So I think there's a huge gap between the both.
Yeah.
But I think that huge gap has always been there and always been pretty much the same.
So looking at Matarazzo, would you have concerns that he hasn't coached at the international level?
Not right now. Not off the jump. And I see it differently from Sebi. I think what we evidence this summer between the Copa America and the Euros, the international game is getting a whole lot quicker and so getting a whole lot more like club football. The challenge with international football, as we've seen and as Sebi was discussing earlier with the US women's national team, is the quick turnaround. The short time that you're together and then tournament format where games are coming every 2 or 3 games. And how do you manage your players? How do you manage your player pool? Make sure everybody's rested. Who's to come next? If games go into extra time, that is where the big differences for me become. the truth is, I just don't think that there are a lot of managers out there. And while Sebi is right to point out Renard, I just don't feel that there are a lot of international managers that get everybody excited at a time where there are a number of high-profile vacancies. Matarazzo, I think, ticks boxes.
Right.
But again, we just have to wait and see. I mean, the US has gone through that box ticking is what I was trying to say.
Really?
Oh,
Yes.
you were trying
Box
to say it.
ticking exercise
Yes.
with
And how's that
different
gone?
results.
Right, different results. What was it again?
Box ticking.
Thank you very much.
Do you need to be a big name manager? Because I'm thinking of Argentina, World Cup winners,
Right.
Spain, Euros. Are you seeing many big name managers managing international teams these days?
Well, Matarazzo's not a big name, is
That's
it?
what I'm saying. So it can work.
Yeah. Thanks, Tom. Seb, that's it for you. Thank you very much. Anything you'd like to say before you leave?
No, great work, Don. Appreciate the contribution.